Okay, so we are discussing regarding public-private partnerships today and all the other various types of PPPs. So what is meant by PPP? Can anyone recall? I had explained to you regarding this PPP, public-private partnership. General idea between public-private partnership or any example you can think of where we use this kind of contract. Any project that you can think of where we adopt this PPP model. Okay, getting back into public-private partnership. So public-private partnership, as the name suggests, it is a contract between public and the private, what we call a firm or a enterprise. Right? Public meaning is the government over here, okay, not the general public, but here public is nothing but the government, okay, and private is any, it can be any firm, any company, or any enterprise. So the partnership between these two for any particular kind of project is called as public-private partnership. Right. So usually the government gives away this public-private partnership contracts for infrastructural projects, right? For road development, for airport, railway, right? And maybe for power plants also. Public-private partnerships are usually adopted, and this is a recent new adoption of a new type of contract, which is catching up very quickly. That all the projects usually now are in this particular format, PPP format. Okay, so public-private partnership, partnership of government and one or more private sector companies, right? And they are having a very long-term contractual partnership, not like just the you build and you transfer. But here, what happens is they build, the private sector builds, and they operate for a few years, like say terms 5 years, 10 years, depends upon the type of project. They operate, they get the profit out of that project, and then they transfer it back to the government. Say we have a road project from Kolhapur, say to Belgavi here. We have a road project of an highway. So government gives away that project to a private firm or a private builder, right? Instead, because the government does not have appropriate funds right now. But so what the government does is the government gives the project to a private firm, tells the private firm to build the road and to operate and to manage the road for say 10 years. 10 years now the private firm will set toll booths, right? Toll booths and get toll from the road users, and will in turn get the profit from that particular road. Right? So the owner, so the road users pay the toll fee or the tariff, what you call as, and that is how the private sector gets back its profit. Right? The government does not pay anything to the private sector. Right. So after that particular term, after that particular tenure of that profit earnage, right? Say 10 years. After that, the private sector has to give that particular ownership back to the government. So yeah, the private sector transfers the particular road to the government after he has earned his profit. So this is the general idea of public-private partnership. Okay, so this happens whenever the government does not want to give away funds for infrastructural projects, right? Because they have many other things to handle. So instead, what they do, they give this particular project to private sector and in this PPP format. Okay, so one more example maybe of a hydropower plant or thermal power plant, wherein we give away this project in terms of EPC, right? We know what is an EPC model. So EPC, engineer, procurement, and construction. So in PPC plus PPP model, right? Wherein the company or the private company is in terms of EPC model also and in terms of PPP model also. So that particular hydropower plant or thermal power plant has to be engineered and constructed by the private owner. He has to be he has to construct, he has to maintain, operate, right? And in turn, what the government does is the electricity what is generated at that particular power plant, right? That is bought by the government. That electricity is in turn bought by the government, and the government pays for that electricity whatever is generated. Right? So the government gets its electricity for its users, and the public and the private sector also earns profit from the electricity which it sells. So this is a win-win situation for both the sectors. Okay, so after certain years, what the private sector will do is they will transfer that power plant to the government to operate and to maintain. So this is the general idea of a PPP type of contract. So I hope you have understood what is meant by this public-private partnership. So the contract that is made between public sector and the private sector, right? So the contract that is made between them is called the concession agreement. Okay, contract that is made is called as the concession agreement. Okay, so it is written over here, concession agreement or the contract. What happens between the public and the public sector and the private sector. Okay, so this is the general idea. So regarding PPP in India, you can read later on regarding origin of PPP, how it all started, right, from the 1970s and 80s, because the government could not spend the entire amount, right, on could not spend and could not build and operate on its own, right, infrastructural projects which usually cost a lot of money. So this new type of concept, that is public-private partnership, was introduced, and this has caught up very much nowadays, and all these infrastructural projects nowadays are in PPP model. So you can read these all these things later on. Moving to an important thing here, you can see this flow chart over here, or this chart over here. You can see is showing various sectors wherein we can apply your PPP type of contracts, right? So we can build airports, we can build ports, right? Waterways, then roads. We can apply for urban development also PPP model. Then energy sector, I have told you, tourism, railways, and healthcare. So one important example in healthcare nowadays that is been used in PPP model, right? In healthcare sector uh, is the making of your vaccines, right? So that is also in a PPP model. The Serum Institute or the Reddy Labs, they are in PPP contract with the government, right? So they will manufacture the vaccines, and the government will buy those vaccine at a certain fixed rate, right? So they
Hello,
are
sir.
in PPP contract. Yes,
Sir, Chetan, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಸರ್?
ಇಲ್ರಿ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಬರಲಿ, ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ. Okay, so I have told you a few sectors wherein we can apply this public-private partnership. Airport ಇರಲಿ, roads ಇರಲಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ in the energy sector or healthcare also nowadays is being implemented using PPP model, right? So very very important. All these you have to remember. Okay, coming to few circumstances wherein we can have this particular PPP model, PPP arrangements in any of the following circumstances. When can this model be applied? So whenever financial resources or expertise of the public sector alone are not enough, it sometimes the government does not have the financial resources and the expertise to complete that particular project or to take up that project. So what happens is, in such times, whenever the government is not able to fund any project or is not expert in such kind of project, the private sector will come into picture. Right? They will give that project to the private sector to build, operate, and then transfer. Okay, and whenever the quality or the level of service that is required can be given, the private sector would increase that quality, right? Whenever that can be done, we go for PPP arrangements. That is, when the private sector, if given that project to a private sector, the quality of the project can be increased. In such a circumstance, this arrangement can be done. Next, whenever we need any project to be completed sooner, and when the private sector is capable of completing that project sooner, we can implement this particular PPP type of contract. Right. So usually what happens is, the private sector will try to complete the project quickly, so that he can start earning, or he or she can start earning the profit as soon as possible, right? So that is also a factor that plays a role in giving out PPP type of contracts. Okay. Whenever there is support from users, whenever the users also suggest that this should be given in term of a PPP contract, this PPP contract, we can make arrangements and give away any project in terms of public-private partner contract. Okay, so what happens is, whenever there is a PPP type of contract, there is a lot of competition, and that competition leads to lower charges and higher competition, such that there is lesser, what we say, competition leads to what? Lesser bidding amount, right? Tendering, whenever we do tendering, whenever there is competition, contractors usually try to give a lesser amount for that particular project, right? So that is also very useful, and competition, and also they try to complete the project within the deadline, right? So that they can start earning quickly. So this is also an important advantage of a PPP type of contract. Then the one more important thing, whenever there is an opportunity for innovation, we can go for PPP type of contract. Okay. And whenever the partnership between government and a private sector, whenever say a firm or an enterprise is very well known and experienced and has previously worked and has good relationship with the government. So when such a good track record is there of that particular public sector with the government, we can consider and give away that project in terms of PPP. Right. So that is also a consideration. Then whenever any project is there, which in which we can get user fees, right? So an example is a road project, where the user will pay the tolls, right? We pay the toll, and that can be a source of income for that particular private sector. So whenever such projects are there, wherein users will be paying for that particular usage, right? So such type of projects can be implemented through PPP model. Okay, so see, these are certain circumstances. Now coming to advantages. What can be the advantage of this PPP? We have discussed, right? Whenever the government does not have appropriate funds, we can go for this PPP model, and then that is one advantage. Then risk will be entirely on the head of the private sector, right? On the private company. So the government is at lesser risk over here. Then private sector managerial skills are involved, meaning the private sector is better at handling projects, right? There is a lot of pressure on the private sector to complete within the quality and with the quality and within the time, right? So that particular thing results in better quality and delivering the project well ahead of its time. So that is also an advantage. Okay, then other things, like I've told you, competition, and then time to deliver savings. As I've told you, the quicker they finish the project, the quicker they can start earning, right? So that is also an advantage. And then a reduction on the public treasury, meaning the government has to spend less amount on infrastructural projects and can divert those funds wherever required. So that is also an advantage. Okay, then coming to disadvantages, lack of coordination, right? Whenever there are two or more parties involved in PPP, and there can be a chance of misunderstandings, and whenever there are misunderstandings, there are a lot of problems that are created, lot of hurdles are set up for the completion of the project. So that can be a disadvantage of PPP model, because two or more parties are involved over here, right? Not only one construction company, but many other things are required. I shall tell you all those parties that are involved later on. Inefficiencies, right? Inefficiencies due to lack of contestability and competition. Whenever there is monopoly in the sector, right? Whenever there is monopoly, there will be lack of contestability and efficiency will automatically reduce because there is no competition, right? So any project which is very specialized and there is only one private sector who can do that project, hence there is monopoly, and that company will become inefficient because of lack of competition. So that is one disadvantage. Then culture gap. We know public sector and private sector have very different work cultures, right? Public sector, where you have a job security, people tend to get lazy, and then that create hurdles between each other. There is loss of confidence in each other. So that culture gap is a very big hurdle, and that is a disadvantage of PPP model. Okay. Then different objectives. So the main objective of the public sector is to give service to the public, right? To give service to the users. But the private sector's objective is to earn profit. So the difference in the objectives may tend to misunderstandings, and hence there might be a lot of problems that may be generated in the completion of the project. So that is one disadvantage. Okay, then political and legal problems are always there whenever there is a government which is changing after many years, because these PPP projects tend to have long-term contracts. Like I've told you, 10 years, 15 years, and within that time, governments may change, right? Every 5 years, every 4 years, government changes, and then what happens when government changes? There will be a lot of hurdles in the completion of the project. So these political and legal problems are a major factor, and these are considered as a lot of disadvantage in PPP model. Okay, so I hope you have got the idea of PPP model. A few advantages and disadvantages we have discussed. So let me know whether PPP type of contract which we have explained now you have understood. This is very important from your exam point of view also. PPP, public-private partnership, very important. I hope this part is clear. Yes, any doubt, any questions from your side? Anything you want to add? Balu Patil, Hiremat, Akshay,
No, sir. No doubt, sir.
no doubt.
No, sir.
क्या कहते नील रे? I hope you are listening. Okay. So coming to table, very nice comparison there is done between public, private and PPP. Over here you can see very nicely a table is prepared so that you understand clearly the difference between public type of this project, what happens in privatization, what is changes, and in PPP. Okay, so responsibility, coming to responsibility in a public type of project or in a public type of thing, the government is the responsible person over here, right? The entire responsibility is on the government, right? But in privatization, we know it is the private company or the entrepreneur or the enterprise which is responsible for that particular project. And in PPP model also, the government is the responsible person. Okay, ownership. Coming to ownership in public projects, we can see the government is the owner, right? Government is the owner, or the public, what we call as government is the owner. And in privatization, what we do, we give away the ownership. Ownership is given away to that particular company. So it is the private sector who is the owner of that particular project. But in PPP model, the owner is the government. Okay, owner is the government. The private sector constructs, it operates, and it transfers. Okay, ownership is not in hands of the private sector. So the ownership is of the government. The road is owned by the government. Okay, it is only operated and maintained by the private sector. Okay, the power plant, whatever is the project, or the airport, or the roadway, railways, all those projects are owned by the government. It is only built and operated by the private sector. Okay, so I hope you have understood the difference. Okay, nature of services. The government gives the services over here. It is decided by the private sector or the private operator, right? Nature of service or the tariff, which is fixed, right? Tariff meaning the toll that is fixed, or the electricity in terms of power plants, electricity rate that is the government is buying, right? So in the public project, the government is responsible, no problem, no private sector is involved here. But in privatization, because the owner is the company itself, the entire thing is decided by the private operator. The tariff, the toll rate, the electricity buying rate is all set by the private operator. But in PPP model, it is a mutual agreement. The private sector cannot just set the toll rate to as per his requirements, right? So the toll rate of each vehicle is fixed by mutual agreement between, it is decided by the government as well as the private company. Okay, it is a mutual agreement, it is not entirely decided by the private company. So that is the nature of service. Coming to risk and reward, risk is entirely of the government over here. Here it is risk of the entirely of the private sector, but here it is shared between government and the private party. Okay, so I hope this table is clear. So this will give you an idea what is PPP model, how is it different from public this thing project privatization, and from PPP model. Okay, so these are various attribute comparison between public, private, and PPP projects. Okay, so this flowchart, let me just rotate it. This will show you the various contracts that are involved in the PPP model. Okay, various contracts. You can see the project company, the main company over here, parent company is at the center. Okay, project company who will build, who will construct, and who will operate. Right. So this is the main parent company in the center. Okay. So to build or to start construction, they need some finance, right? They need to have some money so that they can buy and they can start constructing. So for that particular thing, there are lenders or there are banks which are giving out loans, right? So that finance is done by the loan. So that agreement between the lender or the bank and the project company is the loan agreement. Then one more type of finance that can be taken is from shareholder agreement, right? Shareholders, there are various investors, right? We invest, we take share, the public or the persons, what they do, they take share from any company. So those are they are also investors, right? Equity is also taken. So shareholder agreement is the second type of agreement over here between the investors and the project company. Then there is we need this, right? We need materials, right? Materials. So the suppliers are the ones who give out materials, who supply materials. So between the project company and the suppliers, there is supply contract. Okay, supply contract. And who is this granting authority? Granting authority meaning the government. Okay, granting authority are the government who are involved over here. So granting authority is the government, and the agreement between private company and the government, I have told you, it is called as the concession agreement. Concession agreement. Then the project management or the checkers, right? The persons involved in the management or in the proper who check whether the project is going proper, and all those management are involved, right? So that there is a management or checking agreement between those parties and this public and this project company. Then operator is the one who will operate that particular toll booth, right? Or that hydroelectricity power plant, the operator. So there is a company who is operating that particular power plant or that toll, right? So that there is an agreement between the operator and the project company. That is called the operation and the management agreement. Operation and management. So O and P agreement, O and P type of agreement over here. Then construction contract, the company or the firm who designs and constructs that particular project, right? Whatever is the infrastructural requirement, the design and the construction, I've told you, usually it is given in EPC type of contract, EPC, wherein engineering, design, procurement and construction is done by the entirely by the private sector. So the contract between the project company and the construction company is the construction contract. So you can see in PPP, in typical contractual structure of PPP projects, we have so many type of contracts. We have shareholder agreement, we have agreement, loan agreement, we have management agreement, we have concession agreement, we have supply contracts, construction contracts, and O and P contracts. So various type of contracts are involved. So usually there will be a question in the exam. So you have to explain what is PPP, what are the advantages, disadvantages, then what are the various contracts, contractual, typical contractual structure. These will be asked. So you have to draw this particular thing also. Okay. So I hope this particular chart is clear. The various companies and the various agreements that are involved in a PPP type of project. Okay, kya katiri? No problem. Are you understanding the things? Very important. Okay, all these concepts are. So make sure if you have any doubts, you ask. Continuing to the next, moving on to the next things. Okay, so this is also very important. Very important. This particular thing. Okay, so top 10 prevalent PPP engagement models in India. So all these are type of PPP models. Okay, all these are type of PPP models. So you might have heard build, operate and transfer, build, operate and own, right? Build, operate, own and transfer, joint venture you might have heard, management contract, build, operate and transfer, right? BOT and annuity, build, operate, build, own and operate, right? So many types of PPP, these are PPP models are present in India. Okay, these are in India. Top 10 prevalent PPP engagement models in India. Okay. So this list is important. Okay, so remember the various types of PPP models are in India. Okay. Moving on to in detail, moving on, looking into build, operate and transfer, BOT model and BOOT model. So BOT meaning build, operate and transfer. BOT model, build, operate and transfer. In the second type, it is build, operate, own and transfer. Build, operate, own and transfer. So it is similar. Both of them are very similar to each other. Only one change over here is ownership, right? Ownership. So let us discuss regarding the first one, that is BOT model. BOT model. Okay. What is a BOT model? I have told you, wherein the project is given out to the private sector. It is built by the private sector. It is operated by the private sector. Operated meaning the roads. Example of a road project wherein the road is built by the private sector. It is operated meaning it is maintained and the tolls are taken from the road users, and then after certain period of time, after say some 10 years, after the private sector has got the profit out of it, right? Whatever is the building cost, construction cost, that has been taken out, and some profit has been taken out of that particular project. After that is done, then it is transferred to the government. Then the government will operate and they will maintain that particular road. So this is generally what is a BOT type of model. Okay, so it is an example I've told you of a road project, and it can be also a hydroelectricity project, a thermal power plant, right? Many other infrastructural projects can be under this BOT model. Okay, so we can also have excuse me for a minute, I'll be back. Continuing. So where were we? BOT, right? BOT, build, operate, and transfer. Okay. Okay. One more example, not a conventional one, but this type of just an example, usually not followed practically. Suppose there is a person, you are having a land, but you don't have the finance to build, right? What you will do, you will give it, you will give a project in terms of build, operate, and transfer. So you will say to a contractor that you build, and you take the rent for 10 years, right? Whatever the apartment building you build, then the owners or the users will give you rent, you take that rent, and later after 10 years you can transfer that building to me, right? So this can be a type of example for build, operate, and transfer, right? Wherein the owner will get a building after 10 years, right, without investing anything. The contractor will build, he will get the construction cost, he will get profit out of it from the apartment users in the form of rent, and both of them are happy in the end, right? So this is build, operate, and transfer. So I hope you have understood the meaning of a build, operate, and transfer. Coming to BOOT, that is build, operate, own, and transfer. Okay, coming to build, operate, own, and transfer, the only difference here is in terms of ownership, right? Ownership, wherein the private sector is given ownership of that particular project after the it is built, right? So after, say, the road is built, after the power plant is built, the ownership is given to the private sector for, say, 10 years. For the term wherein he will earn the profit, he will own all, and whatever is the ownership cost, that also has to be paid by the private sector, right? So the ownership is given out to the ownership rights are also given out to the particular private sector who has built that particular project. Okay, and later on they have to transfer it. Okay, transferring is not is compulsory. After certain period of time that is agreed upon, it is transferred back to the government. So that is the difference between build, operate, transfer, and build, operate, own, and transfer. Same, all the examples can be same, all the process can be same, only ownership rights are given to the private sector here. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is the difference between BOT and BOOT. Right? Any doubts, Arihant?
No, sir.
क्या कहती रे चेतन?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Coming to role of government, role. What is the role of the government in this particular build, operate, and transfer? ಏನಿರಬೇಕು government role? They have to give some guarantees, they have to give some commitments to encourage, right? They have to encourage the private sector to execute that infrastructural project, and they should give guarantees, right? They should give guarantee, and they should put confidence into the private sector that you can execute that particular infrastructural project, because the government is not involved anything over here. They will not give a payment, they will not maintain, they will not do anything, right? So the government just has to agree, they have to give the agreement, they have to prepare the agreement, and has to give commitments and give guarantees. That is the main important part of the government. Okay, so the government should also help the private sector to perform at their best of their ability, right? So that how can that be done? How can the government do? How can the government enable the private sector to perform their best? By clearing the regulatory bottlenecks. Any regulatory hurdles if are present, the government can clear those things and can give permissions for the private sector to complete that particular project, right? So that can be a role of the government. Then create and monitor the master plan. That is the main role of the government over here. Monitoring is the main role of the government. Okay. One more important role of the government here is to monitor tariff levels. That is, let me give an example of a road project. Right, if the government is not involved in monitoring the tariff levels or the toll rates, right? If the government is not involved in monitoring, what the private sector will do, they will increase the toll rate as per their convenience, right? What if the toll rate is increased, the public will start facing many problems. So to avoid such problems to the road users, there is a monitoring that is required from the government level, right? Monitoring of the tariff or the toll, right? In an example of a road, right? That is one important role of the government. Okay. Then one more important role you can read over here is to resolve any conflicts, and to provide mechanisms to resolve any conflicts which arise. Right. That is one important role of the government. So these are a few roles of the government that are present in BOT model. Okay, not much role is there of the government. Only the role of the government is to monitor and is to give guarantees, is to monitor and to resolve any conflicts. This is the main role of the government over here. Okay. Then coming to purposes of implementing build, operate, transfer model. Can you tell me a few purpose why or a few requirements or why we require or what is the purpose of implementing BOT model? Answer is on your screen. You can read and also answer. I have explained also up till now what are the requirements and what is the purpose. Uttam, Uttam Bisiji. Jeevan Sankannavar.
So, sir,
Any purpose of implementing BOT model? Answer is on your screen. You can read.
sir, decreasing the financial burden
Decreasing, decreasing the financial burden of whom?
in the public infrastructure projects, sir.
Whose burden will be decreased? Of the government or of the private sector?
Government, sir.
Correct. So the government does not have to pay the private sector here, right? So that burden is reduced. That is one purpose. Then foreign financial resources can be got, right. Financial resources, financial for foreign advanced technology can be implemented. That is one purpose. Then to decrease countries foreign debt, that is one important thing. To build infrastructural projects we require a lot of finance, right? So usually the government will borrow from finance from the foreign bodies. So that can be okay. So countries' foreign debt can be reduced because we do not need to borrow any finance from the foreign bodies. So that is one purpose of implementing build, operate, and transfer. Okay, so these are nothing but advantages of BOT model. Okay, so BOT I have explained to you: build, operate, own, and transfer. Right, wherein the private sector is responsible for the design, construction, finance, operation, maintenance, and commercial risk associated with the project. So in this particular typical structure of BOT project, you can see the various contracts that are involved. Okay, the main contract between the government, and the construction company, that is the concession company, what we call as, is called the concession agreement. You can see it is called the concession agreement. Then between the suppliers, lenders, investors, respective contracts are present: loan agreement, shareholder agreement, supply contract. Also, we have users, and there's offtake contract, wherein we fix the tariffs, we fix the tolls, and we fix the quantity that will be bought by the government in terms of electricity, or the tariff which will be fixed in terms of tolls, right? That will be fixed here in the offtake contract. Then we have operator, then the operation contract in between the promoter and the operator. Then constructors who will be constructing that particular project. Then there will be this construction project in between the concession company and the constructor. So this is just a typical structure of the BOT model. Okay. Okay, so I hope you are following the PPP type of model that we have discussed today. So we have learned regarding PPP, the advantages. Then we have discussed regarding the various types of PPP models, that is a BOT model, also BOOT model. Right? So we have discussed these two major things over here in PPP models, and we have left out a few more things. We shall cover those in the next class. Right. So a few things regarding agreements, right? The various agreements that are required, that are made between various the companies and the various operators, right? You can see that is nothing but which is given in the flow chart. Same thing is written over here: the concession agreement, the loan agreement, shareholder agreement, all these things. Okay, then I've told you the concession agreement, it is between the government and the constructor. It is between the government and the parent company, that is the private sector. Then loan agreement, I've told you, shareholder agreement, all these things are present. Okay, O&M, I've told you O&M is the operation and management contract. It is between the parent company, it is between the private company and the operator. It is between the private company and the operator O&P, that is the operator and management contract. Okay. Advantages of BOT model, I've told you it is similar to PPP advantages. The same thing will be applicable over here. Okay. Then coming to disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of BOT model? Disadvantages of BOT model is it is not suitable for smaller projects, right? Whenever you have smaller projects, you cannot go for this BOT model. Okay, one more disadvantage that you can think of this particular type of model is whenever you have PPP type of contract or BOT contract, the main disadvantages is whenever there are no users, right? Suppose you build a road or you build a power plant, and if the government does not buy your particular electricity, or there are no road users, only the public is not using the road itself, then there will be a lot of loss for the company who has built the particular road, right? So this is a disadvantage of this type of BOT model or a PPP model, and there is high risk involved for the private partner, right? The private enterprise has a high amount of risk, as I've told you. If the road users are not present, or if the government is not buying your electricity, there will be a lot of loss for your private company. So this is a high risk proposition for your private company. So that is a disadvantage for your disadvantage of PPP type of model, or it is also a disadvantage of your BOOT and BOT models. All these are disadvantages are applicable for all these. Okay. Then international bidding is nothing but whenever you have international projects. Okay, now we have got out from PPP model. Now we are into next topic, that is international competitive bidding. Next topic, that is international competitive bidding, that is ICB. Whenever we have international whenever we have very large projects, right? Very large project. Okay, sorry for the this thing interruption. There was a network issue over here. Okay, so I hope you are listening. So the next topic here is international competitive bidding. It is nothing but whenever you have large projects, right? Whenever we require international companies to build certain projects which are very large, or whenever we have some specialized projects wherein no company in the country is able to do that, we need to invite some international companies for the bidding. So that involves some international competitive bidding. Okay, so advantages of international competitive bidding is you can get foreign companies to bid for your this thing, right, for your project. And there will be kind of transparency and help and that will help avoid corruption and favoritism. Okay, it gives all suppliers the opportunity to win business that is advertised. So the competitive in international competitive bidding, we promote or we advertise our particular tender internationally, right, through your foreign embassies also, right, and to companies which are relevant to this particular project, international companies. So there will be a lot of companies who will be bidding, and there will be there will be a lot of transparency, and there will be lesser favoritism. And we have whenever there is competition, we know the competitors will always try to try to reduce their bidding rate, right, bidding amount. So that is one advantage of international competitive bidding. Okay, so this is just a brief thing required, not very important. Okay, regarding this FIDIC form of contract, FIDIC form of contract agreement, right, we shall discuss in the next class. This is the last topic remaining of your fourth module. Okay, this is the last topic. So I hope you have understood what is meant by a PPP, BOT, and POOT. Okay, so can we stop here? Can we end the session over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. You can give your attendance. Give your attendance. If any doubt, if anyone wants to share anything, if anyone wants to add anything, you can share now. Please give your attendance and wait. Do not leave the session. Everyone, I hope everyone has given.